Hello everyone to Electric News Highlights. Quick news about the electric car world. And 3 weeks in a row, so many news. This video is brought to you by EV Supply, accessories for your EV. Soon it's winter time and they have a huge selection of winter tires. If you cannot find your model or your brand, email them. They can find a very good, nice set for you. They also have high quality rubber mats, so when you bring in your snow, you don't ruin your interior. If you want a tint for the rear window or the rear side windows, they also have you covered, and it's not just a foil that you have to put in and it's horrible to put in, it's a real whole thing, which is pretty cool. Use the link in the description to get 10% off, and if you order within Germany and Austria, winter tires will also be sent to you for free. New Renault Twingo prices. In Italy, in Germany the prices are not out yet, but in Italy they are. It starts at 19,500 euros, which is amazing. And if you want more features in your car, you have to pay around 21,000 euros. But important, we know already in Germany DC charging is standard, but in Italy you have to pay extra for it. And also in Italy for charging AC you only get 6.6 kilowatt. And if you pay extra 500 euros, you get 11 kilowatt AC charging and vehicle to load. New Ford Puma Gen-E. In 2026 there will be a new version of the Puma Gen-E from Ford, and it will have a bigger battery. Ford already announced that it will have more range. It doesn't say what the capacity of the battery is, but so far WLTP range of the Puma Gen-E is 365 kilometers, and they say it will be more than 400 kilometers, which is amazing. And it will also get, like I already said in different news, I think last week or the week before, Blue Cruise. This is a feature that in certain highways you don't have to touch the steering wheel when you have cruise control and steering assist on. Really great to have this in a low price car. Kia cancels the EV9 GT for the United States. It was planned that the EV9 GT should come to the United States. They are building the EV9 in Georgia in the United States, so it's all no problem when it comes to import tax and everything. But the GT is still built in Korea and has to be imported in the United States, and that's 15% of import tax. And Kia looked at it and said, we're not going to do it. It's going to be too expensive, and then people won't buy the car. And they did the exact same thing with the EV4 Fastback. They also wanted that in the United States to be a competitor to the Tesla Model 3, but they canceled that, and so EV9 GT is not coming to the United States, sadly. Another reason is that in the US the incentives of buying an electric car is over, and so a lot of people bought electric cars before this was over, and now the demand is a bit lower. New Lucid Gravity Touring. A cheaper version of the normal Lucid Gravity is now available in Germany and everywhere, and I have to read off a bit here. The normal Grand Touring costs in Europe 117,000 euros, the Touring just 100,000. But a lot of things have changed. For example, the voltage of the battery. Instead of 926 volts of the Grand Touring, which has all the options, it's now 672 volt. The charging goes from 400 kilowatt down to 250 kilowatt. The time from 10 to 80% charging goes from 14 minutes to 23 minutes. And the battery is instead of 123 kilowatt hours in the Grand Touring goes to 89 kilowatt hours. And that means also the double LTP range goes down from 748 down to 545 kilometers. Power and acceleration also in the Grand Touring we have 617 kilowatt, 3.6 seconds 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. The Touring has then 418 kilowatt, 4.2 seconds, which is still pretty amazing for an SUV. And we go on with new versions. The BYD Atto 2 gets a bigger battery. I drove the small battery in where did I drive it? In Frankfurt, I think, just for an hour and so, and the motor is pretty weak and the battery is pretty small, charging is a bit weak, so it's really a city SUV. But now there's a bigger battery. Again, I have to read off, we get now a 65 kilowatt hour battery instead of 45, get 430 kilometers double LTP range instead of 312. Charging goes up from 65 kilowatt was the charging of the small battery to 155 kilowatt. The time from 80% charging from 37 minutes from the small battery goes up to 25 minutes, which is really okay. The power also goes up to 150 kilowatt. Top speed is still 160 kilometers an hour. 0 to 100 takes around 7.9 seconds, and the car starts in Germany at 42,000 euros, where the small battery base price is under 30,000 euros. Supercharger fire in Germany. In Bremen, some idiots put fire on superchargers and a transformer to burn it down, and then a few days later wrote an anonymous letter to the police and said, "We did it, we are against Musk and capitalism and everything." That's not the way to do it. I'm sorry. In this world, if you want to protest against something, don't buy it, don't support it, but burning it down, that means that insurance has to pay for it, and that means insurance costs go up for other people. It's just nonsense. Don't do that. It's just stupid. Please. Let's stay with Tesla. Supercharger charging cards are available. They were available before, but now even more. You can, in your app, when you are a Tesla driver or not Tesla driver, you can put 34 different charging cards in your app, and you can pay with that. So you don't have to pay with credit card. So you can use, I don't know, if you have a contract with Allego or something, I don't know if this is already supported, but something like this, and then you can pay with this, which is pretty awesome. This is, of course, you cannot use your car to charge at the supercharger, which would be amazing. I hope that comes at some point, and then different prices and everything, and a bit of, you know, some has it cheaper and stuff like this. That would be amazing. We'll see. But important is, this is mostly for business drivers, because business drivers, they don't care what charging costs. They need their charging costs on a special card, and of course these cards are supported, so that if someone has an electric car as a business card, he or she also charges at a supercharger, because Tesla wants that as well, which is great for them. 34 cards are right now supported, 40 others should come in the future. Let's stay with charging. Pay your charging with cash. In Germany, a company, Mundorf, is working with other providers that if you are charging at a gas station, it happens a lot of times in Germany. Shell has their own chargers, Recharge, Aral has Aral Pulse, and others. Jet has their own chargers, and they want to implement that as with a gas station, you charge, then go into the gas station and pay with however you want, with cash, with credit card, or whatever you want. You don't need a special card at the charger. I don't know if this is needed, but maybe some people want to pay with cash, and then for them this is really great. And the last thing, new Porsche Cayenne EV, and it's a lot of data. I have to read a lot. I can't remember that. I'm very sorry. There will be two versions, the normal Cayenne electric and the turbo electric. The turbo has 850 kilowatt, which is 1156 horsepower, 1500 newton meters of torque, 2.5 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, which is, by the way, the same as an Audi e-tron GT. I think the Porsche Taycan Turbo S is a bit faster, but they're also sports cars. This is a gigantic SUV. This power you only have in launch mode. Without that, you have 630 kilowatt, which is 857 horsepower, which, by the way, the Porsche Taycan, the Audi RS e-tron GT had the same thing. Top speed 260 kilometers an hour, and there's a gigantic SUV. There are different motors in the Macan with better cooling with oil. If you get the turbo electric, in the Cayenne electric, you get the same motors as the Macan. The standard version has 300 kilowatt, in launch mode 325 kilowatt, a top speed of 230 kilometers an hour, 0 to 100 takes 4.8 seconds. The regen in the turbo version is incredible, up to 600 kilowatts of regen power. Amazing. Porsche says that almost with every braking that you need, you're only using regen to a standstill because it's incredibly strong. So even if you have to brake very, very strong, so only in emergency situation, the brakes will do something. But of course, it wouldn't be Porsche if you couldn't buy gigantic brakes, ceramic brakes that cost a fortune. We have a 113 kilowatt hour battery, 108 net capacity. It can charge with 400 kilowatt peak, 10 to 80% takes 16 minutes. But here's something very, very interesting and funny. When you just charge, let's say from 9 to 80% or something, you get only a peak of 390 kilowatt. If you want 400 kilowatt peak charging, you have to plug in at 45%, and then from 45 to 48% you get the 400 kilowatt if the battery is 40 to 42 degrees. That's very, very specific. The car can charge AC with 11 kilowatt, optional with 22 kilowatt. The standard version starts at 105,000 euros, the turbo 165,000 euros. WLTP range almost the same because it's the same battery, but of course different motors. The standard version is 642 kilometers, the turbo 623 kilometers. And a bit of news about the channel right now after Volvo EX30 Cross Country. One video is already out. The second one you already seen because it's Tuesday. The range at 130 was pretty low because it was extremely cold and the car was also cold inside and needed a lot of heat. And the 110 kilometers an hour range test was also not amazing. But I will still make a few videos. Next Sunday I will do a long distance trip which will be very, very interesting when the range is low. And charging is also very interesting because under 15% you get very low charging power, and then from 15% you get over 150. At 50% it already goes down under 100 kilowatt. So it will take a bit longer with this car, but still we'll see. And then next week on Tuesday, the Volkswagen ID. Bus long wheelbase with the big batteries coming, only rear wheel drive, but I'm excited to drive this as well. If you want to follow me on Instagram, BatteryLife1, if you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon link in the description below, and here on YouTube there's also channel membership. And if you want to know what's happening behind the scenes, I have a third YouTube channel, Behind the Battery. But that's it for me. Thank you much for watching. Have a great day and take care. Bye.